busy around my feet. There's something laying on the floor, something really beautiful, and I will share more about it in a minute, but there's not much space. Okay, let's start. Hello, my name is Sarah. Welcome to the It's a Sarah podcast. Today it is Friday, April 28, 2023, and this is episode number 73. I love to knit, I love to crochet, and I love to talk, so that's the perfect combination for making this podcast. I'm coming to you from the Netherlands, so excuse my Dutchy English. Do I need to share more? I like to share my handwerkperikelen with you, and that's a Dutch word for crafty adventures. And I have a lot of crafty adventures during the week, so I make episodes 2 times a week, and I do it in Dutch and in English. So there are a lot of episodes on my YouTube channel. Be sure you pick the right one. And I also love to repeat all I tell, so it's absolutely not a problem when you miss one, because I will share all the important things again. Okay, but today I had a lot of nice little crafty adventures last week. And I want to start with what I'm wearing, because that's a really fresh crafty adventure from this morning. Not the whole cardigan, only a detail. But I'm very happy to tell you today, not to tell you, but I'm very happy that I'm wearing my Ariana cardigan today. Again, it's a long time ago. The Ariana cardigan is a free pattern. It's a design from Amy Christophers, and it's a free pattern you can find on Ravelry. I will link all down below. And it's really one of my favorite cardigans ever to make. I guess I didn't wear it a lot. I didn't wear it a lot now because it's a bit fresh off the needles, end of last summer, September I guess, August maybe, but it's really making me so happy because it's a combination of 2 of my favorites, granny squares, crochet granny squares, and knit 2 purl 2 ribbing. And I really love knit 2 purl 2 ribbing, and I'm not quite sure if the pattern tells you to knit 2 purl 2 for the ribbing. Maybe it's knit 1 purl 1 and I just changed it myself. I don't know, but I really love it. The combination of a knitted border and crochet base, really, it makes my heart jump. It's really, I'm a granny square lover, a very, very deep granny square lover, and to turn the granny squares in a nice fitting garment is really, really great. So, but I didn't wear this cardigan last winter because somehow it is categorized in my head as a summer garment. And that's a bit, that has a bit to do with the material, with the yarn. I knitted this in Lang Yarns Kylie, and it was gifted to me last year when I worked for Lang Yarns, and it is a mix of cotton and wool and I think some silk. I do not remember it. And it's really a special yarn because it's not a, it's actually a kind of a bit messy thread, and I think I like it, but I prefer more even. I don't know. I wouldn't choose it again but I really am happy with the colors and the way it is, and it feels amazing. But because of the cotton, I think it was on my summer garment list, but also I have a little problem, and I hoped that I fixed it this morning, but I don't think it is. It has to do with the buttons, because I really like to wear this cardigan on my linen skirts, but I don't wear them often in winter because it's quite thin linen, and you can wear them in winter, but since I have my Hinterland dresses, they are made from thick linen. I prefer those in winter. These are warmer and better for winter. But because of the V neckline and quite low neckline, I had this problem. Those buttons. This is the upper button from my dress, and it's peeping out, and I don't want it to peep out. I love it. It's a really nice button, but I don't want to see you here when I'm wearing this cardigan. So what is happening? The V neckline is a little bit low, and also, I don't know if you can see it, but I bound off quite tight. And that normally I like that for a cardigan because it holds up your stitches. It's not stretching out to the downwards, but but because of this, it's folding a little bit to the inside, and it's exact the fabric we need to cover the button. So what did I do this morning? I replaced this button, and I put it a little bit. I think it was here, maybe 1 or 2 centimeters, 1 inch. I don't know. No, 1 inch sounds quite much. It was not 1 inch, but I put it a little bit higher, and I hoped that it would have solved the problem. But when I'm sitting still, everything's okay and all right. But mainly during the day, I also move. So and I just had lunch. I filmed my Dutch episode, and then I had lunch, and when I sit down, the buttons were here again. So I don't know if it's really a good solution. I think I just have to make a new one. So I can wear this one on my skirts, and I have to make a new one on my dresses. I really love my granny square. I have made so much granny squares with the plate for my parents-in-law. So I have made enough granny squares for now, but I think the need for granny squares will return very soon because it always does. And maybe I will make a new one. I fantasized about a scrappy sock yarn one or a cotton one. Yeah, there are so many opportunities. So, but today I'm wearing the Ariana cardigan, and I really love it. I did some modifications to the pattern. I received a message from one of you, and she told me she was a bit afraid about the construction, how to put the granny squares together. There was some feedback that it wasn't clear, it wasn't described clear. I didn't follow the pattern. I only used that drawing. Do you say it like that? The drawing which explains how to how many granny squares you have to make, and you also have to make half granny squares and quarter granny squares, and it's a bit like a puzzle, and I used it like a puzzle, but I crochet them together as you go, because I'm an as you go granny square crocheter, and I love that much more. I once made a blanket, and I did it in one big long round, and then the blanket was all together, but I didn't love doing that. So when I saw that was also the way how Amy described it to do with this cardigan, I don't want to do that. So I did it as you go, and it was really like building a cardigan, like a puzzle, more than a knitted garment. It was really building. So every time I made a granny square in the last round, I put them together as you go, and yeah, it was really nice. Do it that way. And I also skipped this one because I don't like the wide armholes. I prefer it more fitted. So and when you do it as you go, you can also do a quick fit in between to see if your sleeves are not too tight or too wide or whatever. So you can add a row or skip a row when it's not working out for you. So, okay, enough about this. Let's go to my notes, because I had a lot of crafty adventures this week. Let's start on Monday. Last Monday I showed you my bed runner, the granny square, little granny square blanket, the foot warmer for on the new bed of my in-laws. And that night we had dinner at their house, and I put it on the bed, and it was amazing. They were really happy. It was perfect, exactly how they had imagined it would be. And my father-in-law sent me a picture, but I don't want to share other ones' bedrooms on my YouTube. It feels a bit private. It's absolutely a normal, clean, cozy bedroom, but yeah, I don't know if I would like it if somebody else would share my bedroom on YouTube. I do it myself anyway, but it's now not my bedroom. It's my knitting office in daylight. So that feels a bit different. Okay, and then Monday night, I finally could pick up my knitting again. I didn't knit for, I think, 10 days, and I did crochet a lot, but I didn't knit, and that was really... not the way I wanted to be, but it was okay. It was okay. But I picked up my knitting, and I was a bit. I need an easy project as a sort of warming up, and I did have an easy project on my needles. The Summer Secret Crop. How do I say it? Where is my knitting book? Oh, here you are. Let's take my notes. In the Easter weekend, I casted on this project as a nice knitting project for on the go. We had a lot of family visits and some car knitting, and I didn't have an easy project, and I wanted to have, so I casted on the Summer Secret Crop. There are so many different names of different patterns, all almost the same. So, but this is it from Jessie May. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and I knit it in Lang Yarn's Quattro Dégradé, and also gifted to me. And it's really nice, nice and sweet colors. It made me think of an ice cream. Yeah, it's a bottom-up top, and I cast it on for size small, and then I knitted it up, and I was really happy with how the colors turned out, from yellow in salmon pink into brown into mint green. And then I measured with my home camisole for the length. This side, this is a nice length for on my skirt. So when I was at this length, I split it, and I decided I wouldn't I didn't want to have a Summer Secret Crop. I was knitting one, but I didn't want it because of the small straps, and I really want a high neck, a high back panel, and wider straps, and a nice low, do you call it not a round neckline, a scooped neckline? No, that was another word. I heard someone saying scoop, I think scoop. I don't know, quite a deep round neckline. I really love that. I really feel comfortable with that. So I split it in the back and the front, and then I did some decreases for the armholes. I think my knitting book was up in the night, and I didn't want to go up. It's 1 minute, but I didn't want to. I was lazy, so I picked up just a piece of paper to put on my notes. But now that piece of paper is down, I have to put it in my knitting book. But I think I did just 2 times 2 stitches decrease, and then 1 stitch, I don't know, for a nice quite some stitches to decrease, because it's a summer top, it's not a vest, and there will be a ribbing along the border. And now I am knitting back and forth, and it was quite nice. I did was a bit surprised by the cool pink color. I'm not quite sure if that's really my color, and of course I could cut it out, but yeah, I wasn't sure. And this morning I was thinking for a minute, oh, maybe I just have to rip it out. I don't think this is something for me. But then I saw it again, and yeah, there is some brown in it. So, and I have really a big weak spot for brown. So I will finish it. And when it's not my thing or the fit is not okay, I didn't fit it yet. I think there's a lot of stretch. It's a really quite a loose gauge. But when I don't fit it, there are a lot of girls in my life that maybe they would like it. So I will finish it. But when I was knitting back and forth, I did the Portuguese knitting. I practiced it because I have my sock. Now I've started it, but I wasn't on Monday. But I want to practice my Portuguese knitting. And I've learned that years ago, but I forgot that it was an option. And I didn't like the Portuguese knit stitches, but I do like the Portuguese purl stitches. And I really have issues with my purling. They are always too loose. My purl stitches are always dancing. I think they are just happy stitches, and they don't like to be straight and clean in a row. And I can understand that, because myself, I also don't always love to be straight and clean and do what somebody else tells me to do. I also love dancing and go my own way. But so I understand my purl stitches, but it's not always what I want. It can be annoying. Maybe I'll be annoying too for some people. Oh yeah. The purl stitches, when they are knitted Portuguese, they I think they are impressed by the Portuguese tension. And they keep them in place. Oh, let me show you. This is not a tutorial. You can find them on YouTube. I did. But when you are knitting Portuguese, you put the strand around your neck, and then you drop your ball, and then you have to put it around your fingers on some way you have a little bit of tension, because otherwise it will be too loose. And then you insert your needle as if to purl, because you are purling. And the first stitch is, I wanted to knit the first stitch straight. A moment, there we go. I want to knit the first stitch straight, because that's, I think that's nicer when I have to pick up stitches for the ribbing. Okay, so you insert your needle as if to purl, because you're all purling, and you just put you do a little tiny flick with your thumb, and you put the yarn around it, and you push the yarn through your stitch on your needle, and that's all. And I have no idea if you can see it. I'm quite far away from my phone, but it's really a small. Oh, my hair is that's the only problem with my hair. It's going around the strand of yarn around my neck. But it's really a small movement, a small, really small, really tight. So it's not hard for your hands. And also, because the yarn is around your neck, the tension works out pretty good for me. I'm a loose knitter. And I really love it. It's really nice doing it. So I don't know why I quit doing it a few years ago, because my purl stitches are looking better. And with garments, for example, the Felix cardigan, when you knit back and forth, I really would love to do that with my purl stitches knitted Portuguese. So let's see if I can remember it now. So that was really nice to practice it on this garment, because it doesn't matter if this was a bit messy or loose or whatever. And now it was we're back in my fingers, and I was ready to cast on the socks. I will tell you in a minute. So that was really nice. doing that. And this little top, I will finish it and I will play a bit with it, and it will be okay, and we will see what will happen with it when it's done. And the last one I want to knit. And I have quite some skeins left, so I showed this morning to my sister. We were having a video call with my sister and my mother. We live quite near together, but sometimes it's nice. My little niece loved the video to FaceTime. So my mother showed some of her knits, and I showed this, and they both said, "Oh, that's lovely for the little girl." And I said, "Okay, I have still have some skeins left, so I think I will make her a cotton cardigan for summer, a raglan cardigan, easy peasy, because the color is doing the work." And I found a beautiful pattern, and I think I will use that. But I'm not allowed to cast on any new works at the moment, because I already have quite some, and I'm really enjoying those, so I will finish them first. But this is a nice, easy peasy on the go. Now, not on the go anymore, because I have to think about the decreases, but I'm very curious how it will turn out. Okay, next. Then we were on Tuesday. Oh yeah, and I was also knitting my Tolsta tee. The Tolsta tee is the newest coming pattern from Rebecca Clow from the Creabea podcast. I'm doing a test knit for her. I know the test knit deadline is next week, 4th of May, I guess. So the pattern will come soon, and it's really it's such a nice pattern. It's an easy peasy raglan summer tee, knitted in DK weight on big needles, 5mm needles. So it's quite a quick knit. And Rebecca asked when she did a call for test knitters if you had some suggestions to do something nice with the tee, because she said this is really a pattern which is nice to play with. So you can play with colors, with stripes, with yarns, with garter stitch, with eyelets, with lace, with structure, with everything. So I replied I wanted to play with woolly tattoos, some embroidery, because I really love the embroidery. There is a Dutch knitter, I told about her quite often. Her name is Nienke from Mooi van Draad is her Instagram handle, and she really combines knitting and crochet with embroidery quite often, and she's inspired by the folklore embroidery. Do you say it like that in English? Traditional flower embroidery. So I followed a workshop from her years ago to do some embroidery on gloves. And that was really nice, and I like to play with it a little bit every now and then. But when I did my woolly tattoo, I was thinking, oh, I love doing that. Let's do it more often. And I love doing it, and I love the result. So I finished my Tolsta tee last Tuesday, and I only had to do the sleeves really short, and I had to add some length on the bottom and rip out the bind off because it was too tight. I did ask for suggestions for stretchy bind-offs, and there were a few suggestions. I written them all down, and a few of you called the Ruke bind-off from Ruke Official. I think they were a Latvian lady or Estonian. Oh, I don't know. No. It was also a sewn bind-off, really easy peasy, but I didn't really love the look. And then I chose to do the Italian bind-off anyway, but not with the setup rows. I don't like the setup rows. I always see those lines shine through. I don't like that. And there is a tutorial from the Chili Dog without the setup row. So I did that, and I really love doing it. I still think it's a bit messy. It has the nice stretch. My border was messy anyway. I knitted it on my metal needles because my wooden needle 4mm was busy knitting the corn cardigan, and I kind of regret it. I thought doesn't matter because it was only a few rows, but at the end I did quite some rows for the ribbing, so it's quite obvious it didn't block out. But I have to accept I am a messy knitter, so yeah, it is what it is. But for the embroidery, I have a few patterns from the workshop from Nienke, but I need new inspiration. I can't do the embroidery free on wild, out of hand, a wild embroidery without a pattern. Wild embroidery, I don't know how you say it, but I really need a pattern and a base I can do, because just from the head, just do some wild embroidery will be a big mess, because I don't have the experience to do nice flowery stitches, and I'm also not really good in a very neat and straight finishing touch. As I said, my knitting is messy, but that's probably because I'm also a bit of a messy person. No, I'm not messy. Yeah, well, I am messy. My house is not messy, but I am messy in the head. That sounds really scary. No, that's not what I mean, but I am yeah, I don't know. It's always busy, and I always have ideas, and I always that way I'm messy. So I can go that way and then see, oh, that's also nice, but not in a. It sounds much more heavy now when I try to explain it in English than it is in real life. But when I would embroider by just with no example, and I would think, oh, that's nice, and sometimes it worked out pretty good with some people, but not with Sarah. Then it will be messy. But I had that magic fabric that disappears when you water it, and I'm quite sure you call it soluevlies in Dutch. I don't know, I think some people told me how you will call it in English, but it is for embroidery. You can draw. I printed, let's start at the beginning. I went to Pinterest and I fell down in the rabbit hole of embroidery patterns, embroidery flowery patterns. Oh, there are so many lovely patterns. So I collected all the things I liked, and in the beginning I was thinking of doing a nice flowery embroidery here at the chest, but I had a loose row of stitches here next to the raglan, and it was really bothering me. I hoped it would disappear when I blocked my Tolsta, but it didn't happen. So I thought, let's do the embroidery here to cover that messy row. So I was looking for patterns that fit in, so this way, and I found, and I did a little bit of modifications, and I really collected all the most beautiful, nice flower patterns to embroider on your knits, and really I was in front of my closet. What shall I embroider more? I really thought, shall I do a flower on my home camisole? I really would love to have a flower somewhere, a little detail. I didn't do that, but I really love doing it. So I printed it from the computer, and then you can put the soluevlies on it, the magic fabric, and you can draw it, and then you put it with some pins. In Dutch we call it speld. The pins, those ones you use with sewing. How do you call it? I don't know. But you fix it on your knitting, and then you do the embroidery. And I found some new stitches. The fly stitch, I only used new stitches. I didn't know the fly stitch, and I learned how to embroider daisies, and I learned how to embroider a woven flower. And I tried to do that before, but that really didn't work, and now it worked. So I was really happy with the result. It was really beautiful. And then I put it in the water, and the soluevlies, the magic fabric, disappeared, and then I blocked my Tolsta tea, and now it's laying there in front of me. I filmed it, so I will put it in somewhere. But still, the embroidery doesn't cover up the line, doesn't hide the messy line. Oh, here it is. Doesn't hide the messy line enough, so I will add some little flowers. Yeah, so it will, yeah, I think I will do that. So it's not ready, but I will do that this weekend. I'm really looking forward to it because it's so nice. And I have to explain, when I do the embroidery on my knitting, I really don't invite my perfectionist, because when my perfectionist is in charge when I am embroidering, then it's not fun. It's not fun for me because she's so hard for me, but it's also not fun for her because I can't do perfect embroidery because I didn't practice it enough, and I don't want to practice before I go on my knitting. I just want to go immediately to my knitting. But also, I'm not a person for the really tiny, nice details. That's because I'm too messy for that, and it's okay. But my perfectionist doesn't like that. So I said to her, "You go take some rest and save your energy for a project where I can use you, but not with the embroidery." So she was distracted. I don't know what she was doing, sleeping maybe. And I really did imperfect embroidery. And that's so nice because it seems to me that embroidery on your knitting, it's quite hard to let it fail. It's always nice. It's always looking nice. And of course, sometimes I have to rip out a stitch because it's really not working out, but I think it's always turning out quite nice. So you can do perfect embroidery on your knitting quite easy, because if I can do it this way, I know there will be a lot of other people. Not to talk me down, absolutely not, but yeah, I'm not really an experienced embroiderer, and it's looking amazing. So I absolutely want to cast on a second Tolsta tee, and I was thinking of playing with garter stitch rows or maybe some structure or whatever, but after this I thought no. We are going to make another plain basic Tolsta tee, and then we go add some embroidered flowers again. Yeah, so I have really a dark gray yarn, Holst Coast, do you call it anthracite in English? And I really would love to have an anthracite one with but also the Tolsta tee, when I put it on, I didn't put it on with embroidery, not when it was blocked and dry, but when I put it on, the fit is so perfect. Sometimes you when you have knitted something and you put it on, you have that feeling, oh, this is amazing, this is exactly how I want it to be, and the fit is perfect, and this is what I need in my knitted wardrobe. And I was really so excited because it was perfect on my dresses, and it was also looking good with how do you say it? Not a tank top, with a basic long sleeve t-shirt under it. So because I knitted it in sock yarn, and it's not a summer yarn, so it's maybe a bit warm or maybe itchy, but it was really looking good with the black sleeves under it. So I'm looking forward to it, but I will wear it next week, and I will save it just when the pattern is out. I don't know when it's coming, but I will keep you posted, and I will give it a moment of so I'm really looking forward to it. So that was making me happy on Tuesday. And then when my Tolsta tee was finished, I was allowed to cast on a new project. Those are my socks. 2 weeks ago, I visited a very nice yarn shop in the Netherlands, in Dordrecht. Rebel with a twist, and it's the yarn shop from Alexandra, and Alexandra asked me if she could give me the 52 Weeks of Socks Vol.II by Laine, if she could give it to me together with the yarn to make a specific pair of socks out of the book, so I could promote it on my YouTube channel, especially for the Dutch people, because I don't think she has a web shop, but I think it's quite hard for Dutch web shops to send to the USA and the UK. I don't know. And I was a bit, I doubted a bit, because I'm not a very adventurous sock knitter. I really love basic socks, and I was not sure if this was really something for me, but she showed me the socks, and those, I will put my arm, that's how I must do it, I guess. The Montemuro socks, you can't see it very well because I'm too far from my phone, but the Montemuro socks are a design from Rosa Pomar, and the Rosa Pomar is from the Retrosaria yarns. She really wants to bring back the Portuguese yarns from the Portuguese sheeps made in Portugal, and her design is based on the traditional Portuguese knitted garments. And I really loved the design, and I really loved to visit Alexandra, and I was excited. So I said yes, and I'm so happy I did, because there's happening so much. I really love it when life happens. So I would never have bought this book, to be honest, because it's a wonderful book, but it's just I was not focused on sock knitting. But now I even ordered Birkenstocks, new Birkenstocks in which I could see my hand knitted socks better, because there are so many nice socks in this book, and I really fell in love with many socks, and especially with those, because I casted them on last Wednesday, and I used a German twisted cast on. I'm a toe-up knitter, and when I started my sock knitting career, I was a cuff down knitter, but I changed to toe-up. I really prefer that way, and I still do, but it was nice to do a cuff down again. And I was knitting with this yarn, Mondim, and it's knitting so nice. It's looking so nice. It's feeling so nice. So that was a lovely gift in the first place. And I started just with my normal continental knitting. I do combination knitting for the 2x2 rib, knit 2, purl 2. And combination knitting is, I'm a continental knitter, so I do the knit stitch on the normal continental way. And the purl stitch, I do the Russian purl. And I think the combination of those two you call combination knitting, and your purl stitches are twisted on your needle, so you have to insert in the back leg of the stitch, but it's really a small, you don't have to move your arms, it's really a small move, and it's really, I don't know, I really love it. So I cast it on for the smallest size, and the pattern tells you to cast on 64 stitches. And for my socks, I usually cast on 56 stitches. So those were 8 more. And I understand that, because there's the color work part is not color work, but mosaic knitting. So you need more stitches to get in your sock, but I didn't cast on with 2.5 as the pattern said, because the first part of the sock is just knitted with one yarn, and I was a bit afraid it would be way too wide, and I also changed the main color and the contrast color, because I want the black cuff and black toes. So I knitted the first part just as I always do, and then when I started with the Portuguese knitting, and it's really nice, and it's really easy. It's not hard to understand. So I think I am on I'm just on a purl row. You knit it inside out. You knit with the purl stitches, the stockinette stitches at the outside, and you knit from the inside, and you only purl. So it's really easy peasy, and there is, I don't know if I can do it talking. It's not, because I'm not I didn't do it for quite a while, so it's going a bit slower than my normally knitting, but it's absolutely okay. I think my speed will improve, and it is not about the speed, of course. It's really about the fun, and I'm having fun. Although I must say, I ripped out the cuff. Now, not the ribbing, but the first part of the cuff twice. No, thrice? No, that's not a word. 3 times. I cast it on Wednesday afternoon, and in the evening, oh, my hair is twisted around the yarn. That's a problem. I think all the Portuguese ladies had their hair up. That's not an option for me. But there is a little bit of a lace part in the after the ribbing, and it's really easy peasy lace. But I did what I always do, messed up. And it was just, it was about the detail. I'm always really impressed by how big the effect of details can be in knitting. Because the lace chart tells you to do some purl tours together, and also some slip purls. So the purl and yarn overs. So you get a little bit of. I don't have my sock blockers near me, and it's black yarn, so you don't see a lot of the lace. I can put it. I don't think that will work out. Maybe I will make a little video, or otherwise another time, next time. I made a mistake in the slip purls. I read slip purl, and I thought I can do a slip purl, so I did. But then when I was looking after a few rows, I saw nice and straight stitch column from the knit purl, from the purl 2 togethers, but a messy row from the slip purl. So I thought, did I make a mistake? So I looked in the book to the explanation, abbreviations, do you call it like that? And then I saw I had to purl them through the back loop. So I did that. I ripped out and I did it again, and I did that, and I thought they still look messy. And then I searched for a YouTube tutorial, and then I saw that I had to do something completely different. I had to slip the stitches as if to knit, then I had to place them back on my left needle, and then purl them through the back loop. And when I did that, they looked right. But it took me 2 times, 2 cuffs to find out. And I had the same experience knitting the mystery knit along last year. That some little tiny difference can make such a big difference in your knitting. So that's really fascinating. But I learned by doing, so also ripping out knitting work is a story of my life, and I absolutely accept it. I'm not a head knitter. I do the knitting with my hands. Yeah, that's very special. I knit with my hands. No. But when I'm reading a pattern, I'm not getting it quite often. But when my hands are doing it, then it will work out. And then when my hands are making it, my head says, "Oh, that's the way it's supposed to be." But sometimes my hands needs 3 tries. Okay. The last try, it was quite late in the evening, and I just made silly mistakes, forgot my yarn overs, and I was too tired to do it. So I ripped out again and set up the first row so I could knit on it when I was fresh in the head and in the hands. But it was very nice to feel the yarn, and yeah, I really love it, and I'm really looking forward to add the second color. Yeah, it's really nice. Then yesterday was King's Day in the Netherlands, and we had a very busy day. We started quite early at the flea market. I know now that is also a word in English. And we were there in the early morning, and we have a park in the city town, in the city center, and that's a children's flea market. So there are all the children with their parents selling their old toys and clothes and books, but also handmade things. And it was really busy and nice, and the weather was good. It was a little bit cold, but there was sun, and we were with friends. And my daughter, my youngest daughter, the oldest two, they visit us, but they don't want to sell. They are too old for that. But the youngest one, she had made a lot of now you have a necklace and you have a bracelet. Yes, that's the word, I guess. She braided bracelets and twisted bracelets, and she sold them for a little bit of money, but they were very popular, so she earned quite a lot of money. And it was just a very lovely, nice day, and we had some picnic with friends, and yeah, it was nice. So it was a perfect way. But we were at home quite late, and we were so tired, and I also had 2 beers, so I thought, don't start with those socks again, because it will be not working out when you are doing that. So I did some easy peasy crochet, and I crocheted some makeup pads, and I think I'm ready. I don't think this is enough. I wanted to have 30, but now I have 28. I have to weave in some threads, and then I want to knit a cover, and I want to use them and see how it works out. I think it will be perfect for on my skin, for my face. I think they are a little bit too hard for on my eyes, but we will see. And I also have, that's the last thing I need to share, I guess. Yes, that's my Tolsta tee. No, that's not my Tolsta tee. This is my corn cardigan, also a pattern by Rebecca. And it's really my easy peasy knit at the moment. And it's really a quick knit. I didn't work on it a lot, but it's still quite big. I'm almost at splitting for the arm sleeves, and yeah, it's really, I'm knitting it. I did knit one before, and that was a woolly one, and now I made one in Holst Coast, held double, color warm brown, and it's the weight of this is nothing. It's really a nice summer garment. So I love the color, and I love the look. I love how it feels, and I don't think I make mistakes. Every now and then I do make a mistake, but you do the lace repeat in the first row, and when you knit back, you can fix the mistakes. I always count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and sometimes I miss the yarn over or whatever, and then I can fix it, and it feels really rhythmic and easy peasy. So I love doing that. So I'm not allowed to cast on new things at the moment, because I really want to work on those socks, and the other things I have are also making me very happy. And of course I have a very long list of other things I want to make, but I don't want to have too much on my needles. I did order some sock yarn, so maybe I will cast on a sock for on the go, but that's the only thing. Oh, I almost forgot something. I have another crafty adventure. Last week I showed you my Marettimo tees, and I didn't know what to do with them because I didn't wear them last year, and I was not quite sure about the fit and blah de blah. And with this one I also was not sure about the color, because I think I washed it with a dark colored sock once, and it was looking a bit, I don't know, in Dutch we say grauw. It was looking a bit, it was a nice white yarn with bright speckles and a bit of a dark shade over it, because of the dark colored sock. And someone suggested dyeing it with tea, and I really loved that idea. So now my Marettimo tee is really a Marettimo tee, a TT, Marettimo TT. It's definitely changed. I'm not quite sure if I love it. I put it in a good Darjeeling bath. I made really strong Darjeeling tea. I love Darjeeling tea. And I put it in for a night. And then I didn't wash it. So I have no idea how much of the tea, of the color will disappear when I put it in the washing machine. I only put it in the spin cycle. But I don't know. It has a very, now it's not a grey shade but a brown shade, and I do love brown, but I don't know. And I think it's too long, and I was thinking, should I cut off this, actually the nice part, but should I cut off this and the sleeves and make some brown borders? Did it match it? But I'm not sure if I really love the color. Maybe I just cut it in pieces and use it for in the soil of my cacti. That sounds horrible, but I do think that's gonna happen. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't wear it anyway. The other one has also a nice, is going on a nice adventure, and I also had a brown Marettimo tee, and I will tell more about it maybe next time or in another episode, because something very nice and exciting happened with that one. It was really, yeah, it really makes my heart jump, but I won't share it now. I will share it later. So let me see. Those were my crafty adventures from the last days. And we have a weekend now. It's Friday afternoon. It's still holiday here in the Netherlands, and we are enjoying it from home. That's absolutely okay. We all love being home, and yeah, we have some nice things to do this weekend, not crafting related. Although I do have a nice crafting related adventure tomorrow with my husband. We will go to the yarn shop. There's a lovely yarn shop, not in my town, but in a town in the next town. So we will visit that shop because it's my husband's birthday next week, and I want to. No, it's actually he wants me to knit him a cardigan. And when he said that the first time, I was so surprised because my husband doesn't like wool. He thinks he's very sensitive. He thinks wool is itchy. I think it's mental. Of course, I do know wool can be itchy, but his opinion is so strong that's not true. It's not always. I don't know. Maybe there are people. I don't know, but I don't think. He can lay under my crochet woolly blankets without any itchiness. So it's on his skin, and he never complains, oh, this is itchy. But when I ask him, do you want a sweater? No, it's itchy. So, but he's turning, and it's also my husband loves those fleeced cardigans. I really hate fleece cardigans because of the happy plastic, the fabric. There's not anything natural in it. I absolutely can understand that fleece cardigans can be practical, and also they are okay. They are not ugly in that way, but why should you wear a fleece cardigan when you can wear a hand knitted garment? So, but he didn't want to for all those years. And a few months ago, he said it was very cold in the winter, and he said, oh, I would love to have a hand knitted cardigan for on at the office. What are you saying? And I tried to react quite cool, a bit hard to get, because I thought I asked you so many times if I can knit you something, and you didn't want to, and now you are asking me. I have to stay cool, because when I'm too enthusiastic, I can be very enthusiastic. Maybe it scares him off. So I said, okay, yeah, okay. And then I ignored it a bit, but he asked several times since then. So he really wants it. So now and he also said, shall we go to the yarn shop, for several times. And I said, no, it's not a good time now. I don't have the time. I have other things to do. So it's really amazing. My husband wants to go to the yarn shop to buy wool for a hand knitted cardigan for himself. So of course I will do it for him with so much love. So it's his birthday next week, and I will give him this hand knitted cardigan, and it won't be finished in a few days. Of course, I won't even cast on before, but he wants a black knitted cardigan, so it's perfect to knit it in summer, in spring and summer, when daylight and also the evening light is quite good. we need that light when we are knitting with black. So we will go to there, and I absolutely will film a bit, so I can show you. It's a lovely little yarn shop with lovely yarn, so I'm looking forward to that visit. And also the rest of the weekend I will enjoy my other things, and of course enjoy some knitting time. So I really hope you enjoy your knitting or crochet too, and you have a good time this weekend, whatever you will do. And I will see you this Monday. I think we still have holiday, so when I'm not there on Monday, I'm doing something other. Then we suddenly had other plans, but I think we are at home, and I really love making episodes, so that's okay. So I wish you a nice weekend. Thank you for watching, and till the next time. Bye bye.